Thank you so much. It was a great talk. The title is a little bit different, but I'd really like to start this part of the talk with a song. Yeah. They always come when I start to talk. Okay, we have the song. Sing louder. Row, row, row your boat. Ready? Okay. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So, this sounds like a song that maybe a Buddhist priest made, but I found out that it was already sang in the middle of 1800s in America. But doesn't that sound very Zen-like? Is it a reality or dream? And that's the kind of question I kept asking when I started studying a study called Christian Science. The science, the knowledge to understand our universe in the most loving way. Up to that point, I was navigating life as if I was rowing a boat with one oar. What happens when you row with one oar?
Circle.
Go around the circle. Very good. Have you experienced this? You feel like you're going around the circle. That's right. Anyway, what I mean by that, in short, what I mean is this. I was not awakened to recognize that we can develop and nurture our spiritual sense to understand and see God, what other people might say spirit, as purely metaphysical. And metaphysical. And that's a kind of a difficult word, but meta simply means above, right? And physical. So according to the dictionary, metaphysical or metaphysics means above physical law or matter. So is metaphysics relevant to our lives? Tell me.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Give me the examples that you have or you think of that's metaphysical and essential in our lives. Math. Very good. Anything else?
Music.
Music. Excellent thinkers here. So the number that we teach children, for example, as simple as 1 + 1 is 2, we have these actual solid blocks in front of them and say, here's 1, another 1, and this makes 2. But is number in those physical boxes? No. It just represents something metaphysical and it never ends. During the tax time, I don't know how many of you actually work and have to send in things for the IRS. We don't run out of numbers 3 or 4 or 7 just because our neighbor's using this more than us, right? It's infinite. Something that never runs out. Something that is completely unconditional, whether you're a good person or bad person, the numbers are available for you. The same thing with the music. Mozart said that the music was flooding into his mind and he was quickly writing down. So we probably didn't hear all the music that he heard. But is music in the instrument or in the musical notation? Never. It's not fair if you're not being able to hear. Does that mean they don't have music? They have music. I have a painter, a Japanese painter. I'm from Japan, and when she is in this state of consciousness that lifts her to see beyond matter, she hears music, and that music becomes a painting. So I would say another thing that's relevant to us is that art that we see all over this playa, that we express, that's metaphysical idea in a concrete form. And why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because I want to introduce you to this woman who is so radical in thinking. She said, man is a metaphysical idea, not in the box. For a while, we used to say a lot like, think outside the box. We are not in the box. And even if you say, think outside the box, yes, you can think outside the box. And where are we going? If we continue to see that the physical senses is something that we have to relate to bring reality, then we are always stuck like the jack in the box. I'm always trying to come out, jump out, but your feet are still stuck on the floor of the box. But this lady called Mary Baker Eddy, in 1800s, she had this healing by opening up the Bible, she had from being told to be an invalid for the rest of her life or probably die. She had a so-called an awakening to see that this reality is actually spiritual, purely spiritual, and if we are spiritual, then our origin, the spirit, must be very good. There's a perfect, actually, mind, some people might call consciousness, that are aware of you, is constantly sending you the good idea. So we have to have these ideas really be practical. I want to share a story from the Pennsylvania. I live in Tokyo and Pennsylvania. My friend Tracy had a blood infection from blood poisoning from bacteria infection. And one day her husband called me and said, we are back in a house after 2 months of being in the hospital. And another teacher in the school district just passed on. And so everybody was so fearful of this illness. So I said to Mark, so Tracy is feeling better? And she said, no. She contracted another infection, so the doctor said it's safer to go home than to stay in the hospital. So they came home, but he had a business meeting outside town. And he said, would you please come tomorrow and check on Tracy and walk the dog? In that order. So the following day, I went to see her. And, as soon as I walk in, Oreo, the dog, is wagging her tail and wanting me to go for a walk. But I said, I better check on Tracy. So I peeked in. She was still in the bed. And as I was speaking to Oreo a little bit, she started to move, holding herself against the wall, and finally came to the living room. And you know what she said? I think it's God's will for me to die. My mom died when I was 12. And I said, Tracy, no, from what I'm studying, that science that says the highest style of man lives in harmony and understand God as complete and pure, perfect love. And that's what you are. And I just gave this book called Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures. It's based on the Bible, but then it is beyond this box called religion, because it's all about spirituality, how we think about ourselves, sort ourselves, what to choose that we would like to have it realized. Anyway, I left her with the book and then went for a walk, maybe 20-minute walk. When I came back, she didn't really look well. She was still struggling to read the first paragraph. She said she couldn't really concentrate because she hasn't been eating well and not being able to sleep. I said, okay, I'll be back. I'll bring something for lunch when I'm done with lunch. So she said, no, I don't think I can eat anything, so don't bother. But I went there anyway, also to walk the dog the second time. Well, I had my little bean salad with a little bit of that she could eat. But when I walked in, Tracy was standing there, all in her regular clothes, all washed, and saying, hi, Fujiko. And I was amazed. I said, what happened? He said, as I was reading that book, something moved my thoughts to take a shower. And she has not taken a shower at the hospital unless the nurse was making her sit down in the shower stall. She said she took the shower, and during the shower, she said a thought came to her to change. And as soon as she changed and walked out, she saw the whole house full of clutter because her husband's trying to maintain the 2 children, trying to get to the work, and then going to the hospital. So the next thing she did was I started picking up everything from the floor, folding things, starting the laundry. And she says, I don't know where this energy came from. And I said, it's your new identity to see that you're purely spiritual, that you come from this perfect love. That's what you are. Every single one of you have this identity, and no one can take that away. So I think I'm in the last minute. Okay, so to wrap this up, I want to read something from this wonderful book, Science and Health. Okay, you're in the wilderness, looks like, but this is the description that she gives. Wilderness, loneliness, doubt, darkness, spontaneity of thought and idea, the vestibule in which a material sense of things disappears and spiritual sense unfolds the great facts of existence. And under heaven, she says, harmony, the reign of spirit, government by divine principle, spirituality, bliss, the atmosphere of soul. So go for it, brothers and sisters. You are the spiritual idea. Don't let anything say anything opposite to that. Thank you.